I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
All right, welcome to episode 36 Podcast of the Immortals. I'm Matt Bush.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Bellamy.
What's up?
Everything.
All right, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to recap Raw, of course. That's going to be most of the show.
That's what we do every week.
But you also have some wrestle news that you were talking about.
I do. And what?
Don't
Don't even tell me I know it. I know it.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked it up. I should know it. Wrestle news as spoilers for you guys if you want to watch SmackDown on Friday. But right now, as we record, it's Tuesday night. SmackDown tapings are taking place / have taken place. And the spoilers are as follows. So skip a little bit. It doesn't really matter. It's not really that spoilerific. But there are 2 matches confirmed for the next pay-per-view, which is in less than 3 weeks. Battleground. The title matches will be as follows. For the World Heavyweight Championship, Alberto Del Rio will defend against Rob Van Dam. So we'll be seeing a rematch from what we saw at Sunday's most recent pay-per-view, NOC, Knock, Night of Champions. And the WWE Championship, the vacant, which, if you didn't know, it's been held on abeyance. They only said that 17 million times yesterday. It is going to be Daniel Bryan taking on Randy Orton.
Now that's a shocker.
Yeah, big shock.
Yeah.
So that's our wrestle news. That's my contribution to the wrestle news. I've been busy watching Breaking Bad, so you only get one item from me.
And I'm so excited. Oh my god, this last episode.
I know.
No, you don't know. You have no idea.
No, I know.
It blew my mind.
I need to finish because I know I'm going to be spoiled.
Yeah.
So I need to get through. I'm 24
episodes.
24 episodes in. So as you walked in here, I was on episode 4 of season 3. So I don't even want to say anything because I'm sure we do have listeners who haven't seen any of Breaking Bad.
Which, just turn it off. We don't want you anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't because I was one of you a week and a half ago.
Well, listen. Finish the episode. Turn on Breaking Bad and listen to it until our next episode comes up next week.
Yeah. Now, how many episodes are left? 2?
2 episodes.
So this week is the, what is it? Say it.
Next week is the penultimate episode of Breaking Bad. And I found that there's another word for like second to last, and it's like...
Second to last?
Well, that. But like something ultimate, there's like another prefix to it.
Tweet us if you know what that is, because I don't even know what that is right now.
And the winner, whoever tweets us first, gets a retweet.
Yeah, no, you know what?
I will 30 followers.
I will send you an image of Walter White that was painted, or, I mean, it looks like it was painted by somebody. And I don't have the artist's name in front of me, but I will tweet you this photo that I'm showing Matt right now of Walter White. And you can use it as a background on your phone or your home screen. I'll give you 2 to choose from. I love this one too.
I like the first one a little better.
Yeah, me too. This one, he kind of looks like Dr. Bad Vibes from that Cops cartoon.
Yeah.
If you remember that show.
That's our Breaking Bad contest.
Yeah, do you have any wrestle news?
I have one bit of wrestle news. It was kind of a slow week.
Well, it's just a short week. I mean, we were on a couple days ago, and actually, we do have to talk about Jim Ross.
Jim Ross as well. Yes,
we'll mention that.
But they announced. Well, they said that they announced every WrestleMania match in the 30 years of WrestleMania They haven't announced them all yet. But we do have a good chunk of them, and I'm going to go through them now.
Okay.
For WWE 2K14.
Sweet.
The first set of matches is under the headline of Hulkamania Runs Wild. That's that era that they're kind of capturing here. The first match is WrestleMania 1, Andre versus Big John Studd. WrestleMania 2, we got WWE Champion Hulk Hogan taking on King Kong Bundy in a steel cage.
Ooh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. WrestleMania 3, we have Intercontinental Champion Macho Man Randy Savage taking on Ricky Steamboat in one of the greatest matches of all time.
And you've said it's still a solid match, maybe not greatest of all time, but watching it today,
if they put on a match like that today, people would still be like, wow, that was really good.
I saw, side note, WWE.com had something a few weeks back of the greatest matches you've never seen, and they had footage of most of them. Some of them were from Coliseum home videos, some of them were from house shows and other events, and they said that Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat actually had a better match than their WrestleMania encounter.
Wow.
And I think it was at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Crazy.
And I saw about 4 minutes of footage on WWE.com. It was very cool to see.
Nice. Another classic from WrestleMania 3, of course, Hogan versus Andre.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have WrestleMania without mentioning that match. WrestleMania 4 has
Brother!
Macho Man Randy Savage taking on the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in the finale of the
title tournament
that they had during the entire show. WrestleMania 5, WWE Champion Macho Man Randy Savage taking on Hulk Hogan. The Ultimate Powers collide. That was
the Mega Powers.
Or the Mega Powers. That's correct. I'm sorry.
You were just thinking about Ultimate, because what are you going to say next?
Well,
something about Ultimate?
Next up is WrestleMania 6, WWE Champion Hulk Hogan taking on Intercontinental Champion The Ultimate Warrior, and that was the Ultimate Challenge.
The Ultimate
is the tagline.
Warrior.
Yes.
Title versus title.
For the first time ever, of many.
And I love the Intercontinental title. And in addition to what we talked about on Sunday's Rapid Reaction podcast, if they got rid of the U.S. title and they got rid of the World Heavyweight Championship, your second best guy could have the IC title again. That's what should happen.
Sure.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Make it happen, Vance.
Do it. I loved when, The Rock carried it, Stone Cold had it, Shawn Michaels had it. It was like the bridge to superstardom. And
it was
now it's just like Santino has it.
It was what the Money in the Bank briefcase kind of is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you were most of the time next in line or close to it. We have some great IC champions or longtime IC champions too, who never made it there. Honky Tonk Man, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of that
Mr.
talk
Perfect.
Mr. Perfect was the next one I was going to name. But a lot of people have said that Honky Tonk Man had his for a while because he knew about the performance enhancements that were taking place.
Really?
And he was given the long run.
Wow.
Because he was, rewarded for keeping quiet or
18 months,
given an incentive to keep quiet.
WrestleMania 7, Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter taking on Hulk Hogan.
With those curl-toed boots that he received as a gift from Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. WrestleMania 8, WWE Champ Ric Flair taking on Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, Rick and Liz.
In part 1 of the only double main event in WrestleMania history.
Yokozuna? I thought you were naming the next set of matches.
No,
okay.
it was Flair versus Macho Man. That was the first main event on the card, and it was
I'm getting choked up.
And then WrestleMania 8 finale was Hogan taking on Sid.
Yes.
And
with
that was
Papa Shango interfering in Ultimate Warrior, right?
Ultimate Warrior came out, yeah. The big return from Warrior. He was gone for
Was that the match where Sid kicked out when he wasn't supposed to? Or was that a different match?
No, I doubt it, because it ended in a schmaz.
Yeah, and I remember just Shango had to run 30 miles.
Oh yeah,
to get to the
just
ring.
Gassed, It was great. WrestleMania 9, WWE Champion Bret Hart taking on Yokozuna, and that was the famed match where Hogan.
Immediately after that match, he beats Yokozuna. And
Yeah.
that's the next match in there too. I saw that today.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
And it says immediately following the other match.
Maybe that'll be a tie-in.
Yeah,
one.
probably.
Hopefully not one of the 45. And now here's the new generation of matches. Starts with WrestleMania 10. Ladder match between Razor and Shawn, which is one of my favorite matches.
I can't wait to see Razor Ramon in the game.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. WrestleMania 10 as well. WWE Champ Yokozuna versus Bret Hart. So we're going to get 2 matches with the same guys, which is kind of pretty rare. WrestleMania 11, Undertaker taking on King Kong Bundy. Now I've seen this match. I don't know why it's going to be in a classic match at WrestleMania.
Well, is it Undertaker's first WrestleMania match?
No, he took on Jimmy Snuka at
Okay, that's right. That's right.
7 or 8. WrestleMania 11 as well. Diesel, WWE Champ, taking on Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 12.
Will Pamela Anderson and Jenny McCarthy be in the game?
Ooh, maybe. I bet they will be.
No, I doubt it.
I don't know. They were pretty good about doing that kind of stuff. Undertaker takes on Diesel at WrestleMania 12.
Are they going to have the Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels, Triple H triple threat match from WrestleMania 20?
I don't understand the question and I won't respond to it. WrestleMania 12, WWE Champ Bret the Hitman Hart taking on Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man match, classic Iron Man match. Good stuff. And WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart taking on Stone Cold, and that's the famous double turn match where Stone Cold had the blood just dripping down his face and he passes out. Awesome, cool stuff.
My God, Bloodstone. Son of a bitch.
Bloodstone?
Yeah, I remember seeing a poster. It was a poster, it was in a magazine or something, where he's covered in blood from that match and it said Bloodstone on it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what the hell it means, but
I bet it means something.
Blood Diamond. So, I bet a Bloodstone is something that's way smarter than I am. That made no sense at
all. So that's all the matches that they've announced so far. Obviously, that's only about a third of the WrestleManias. So we're going to get quite a few more, and I'm excited to see the rest of the list.
A Bloodstone is a heliotrope, a mineral.
They're minerals.
Yeah, so it's a rock.
Oh, wait, you don't know that. Okay.
There's a band called Bloodstone.
Yeah, but, okay, minerals... You're watching Breaking Bad. You'll understand that reference in a little bit.
Don't ruin it for me.
I didn't ruin anything for you. Okay, but it's just remember minerals.
All right. You know, I kind of see... I think I do resemble Jesse Pinkman.
I can see.
I watch him like, we kind of have that same hairline that's like leaving us a little bit on the sides, making our forehead larger with each day.
Well, it's just because there's too many brains and it's pushing it up. Yeah, something like that.
Multiple brains.
Pinky in the Brain. I saw the voice of Pinky in the Brain at
Animaniacs.
Yeah, and Animaniacs is sweet.
That's awesome.
He sang the country song.
Was he conducting business in Hall H?
No.
Okay. Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah. They sang that song, the Animaniacs song.
We're Animaniacs.
No, not that one. The one where he sings like all the countries.
I see. I didn't watch Animaniacs enough to know that.
Okay,
sorry.
Well, he sings all the countries, and he literally named all the countries.
Yako, Wako, and Dot. Was that the three people's names?
I don't even know.
Yako, Wako, and Dot. Or something.
But
you and I are the only two people right now not playing Grand Theft Auto 5.
I know. I don't even know why we're recording a podcast because no one's going to listen to it. They're going to be killing and stealing.
Put your earbuds in and play us. Turn the vol down and just. I think
cozy.
I think we go well. We'll narrate for you. There's a car. Grab that car.
Yeah.
Get that guy.
Stop him. He's gonna tattle on you.
Use the cheat code to lower your wanted rate.
Yeah. Drop a boat onto the. I used to always do that. I would just I would put in the code for a boat would just appear in the middle of the road and just kill people and stuff. And then I get into a helicopter and start flying around.
Oh gosh, those games are so great. I remember I got the first Grand Theft Auto, the overhead view for the PS1.
Old school.
And loved it. I was 16 years old, and one of my buddies and I were at Best Buy, and I happened to spot it. I wasn't even there looking for it. I'm like, I have to buy this game. I've heard about it. It's banned in England. And
yeah.
It was awesome.
It was banned.
It was banned in England, I think, at the time. Yeah.
We're running over little 8-bit characters and stuff.
So sweet.
Right on. Okay, so that's Wrestle News. That's all we got for you this week. Mostly Breaking Bad commentary. And
should we talk about Jim Ross before Raw?
Oh, right. Yeah, I think we should.
I mean, Jim Ross retired. And
we're using air quotes on retired.
And it was midweek last week, out of the blue, unceremonious. Nothing mentioned on SmackDown, nothing mentioned on Raw, nothing mentioned at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And he has been gracious about it publicly, but I read a report from Zach Arnold of WrestleNews.com, and he said that WWE has continually dumped on him year after year, both on camera and off, and Vince, for some reason, is obsessed with shitting all over him, and it stems from Vince, from Jim Ross being originally a WCW announcer, being a guy from the South, and it's just like we saw last night. Vince McMahon is obsessed with embarrassing people in their hometowns, and you saw that with The Miz last night.
Yeah.
He's fixated on that for some reason. And whether or not it was Vince now, maybe he's passed the gene on to Triple H and to Stephanie, but he would embarrass Jim Ross all the time in Oklahoma. You saw when Vince Russo was in WCW, he had a character named Oklahoma who dressed up like Jim Ross and was the cruiserweight champion. And I mean, Jim Ross is the greatest, one of the greatest people to be in WWE ever. I was, lucky enough to be around and listen to Gorilla Monsoon call matches. A lot of people talk about how great the late Gordon Soley was. I am not old enough to appreciate that.
I've never.
But I'll take obviously I'll take people's words for it. But to me, Jim Ross is the best ever, and I like Michael Cole. But I think about, and Zach Arnold pointed this out in his column, how many great moments we've missed out on by not having Jim Ross call up these matches, that from these countless Raws that he hasn't done, these countless pay-per-views, and it's really a shame. And I just wish him the best. I know he has a ton of other business ventures and things to do in life. And
sauce it.
Yeah, and he's not one, at least publicly, who seems like he's dwelling on anything. He lets stuff roll off his back. But, I mean, if that guy doesn't know how appreciated he is and how good he is and how valuable he is, it's a shame. And, I mean, screw WWE and the McMahons and anybody else who's taken a crap on Jim Ross.
Yeah, it's... Jim Ross, I mean, when you think of wrestling commentators, it's always Jim Ross first. Mm-hmm. You don't think, okay, I mean, Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura, all those guys were great. Bobby Brain Heenan, even CM Punk on the mic. Mm. But any time, like, if you're ever going to do any quote, it's always in Jim Ross's voice. Yeah. It's just iconic. He's called, like, the biggest matches in history. He's just a great person. I feel like he's just a nice guy, For him to be kind of screwed over and just pushed away, and like for Michael Cole, and I don't know. I'm really upset about it.
It's been one of those things that I can't understand, and no one could ever defend the other side of it enough to me and explain it and make it make sense. And no one ever really does. It's just, it's tough because they're playing these characters on TV, but they blur the lines so much that, I mean, when you have Michael Cole pour barbecue sauce on Jim Ross, and the things that they would have him do, the matches they would have him be in, the times he would get beat up, they kissing Vince McMahon's ass. I think 12 years ago he had to join the Kiss My Ass Club.
Just recently when Vince McMahon made fun of his
Bell's palsy.
Like, don't go. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like I read a lot of things about, like, people are just like, wow, Vince,
Yeah, and to me, it's Vince being jealous. Vince, prior to me knowing that he was the owner of the company,
he was a great announcer.
When he was an announcer, I thought his announcing was great, but he's nothing compared to Jim Ross. Yeah. Jim Ross was awesome, and Jim Ross helped out a lot of people, both wrestlers and non-wrestlers, and it's a shame that they were not appreciative of him, they being WWE, and it's one of the things that to me stains this company's reputation. It's those things that you can't ignore, and they'll try to ignore, and they'll do the Be a Star campaign, and we're helping kids read and all this other stuff, but you need to get your crap together. And when you have a group of bullies running the show, when you have anybody who would treat Jim Ross like that, or completely sweep him under the rug.
Well,
I have no respect for
current
those people.
storyline. I mean, you're talking about like best for business. Jim Ross is best for business, and he has been for a long time. And the way they've treated him over the years is sickening.
And Triple H brought him back again. This was storyline-wise when Triple H was the first named COO. I remember the board of directors met and they told Vince he was no longer needed. He brought Jim Ross back because he said that's what the people wanted. And that lasted for a couple of episodes, and then he went on his way, and I don't really remember why. And then when Jerry Lawler suffered his heart attack, he, along with John Layfield, stepped up and joined the commentary team, and that was great to see. I mean, the guys
didn't Vince fire him again though? Like,
I think he did.
Yeah, right on air.
It's just shit.
Sad.
And
I thought it was storyline, and nope, he was just never back on again.
When Vince McMahon is dead, he will not get the respect and the admiration and the adulation that he wants or that he thinks he deserves. To me, things like this stain any of the good things that he's done, and it just shows that his stubbornness has hurt him, and it will hurt him. I mean, it's continued to hurt him, and it will hurt him long after he's gone as well.
Yeah, it's a shame, and we're gonna miss you, JR. We're always gonna have Stone Cold. Oh, that's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
Well, that's actually, I think that's Vince McMahon who does the.
Was it?
That's gotta be Kane.
But we still do it in JR's voice.
But he's got stop the damn match.
Yeah,
enough.
He's got a family.
Yeah, why, Steve? Why? I mean, there's so many things, and we don't even say my God. It's by God.
By God. He's shaking hands with the devil himself.
Unreal. Yeah, Jim Ross, best in the business, period. And I wish he was still on Raw, but it's been forever, and that ship sailed a long time ago. But all the best to Jim Ross.
Yeah,
and,
we'll miss you, buddy.
Boo to you, WWE.
Sauce it.
You suck.
Get some JR's barbecue. I heard it's really good. That's what I heard. Well, anyways, we got to get into Raw now. And
first corrections department from last episode. I said that the first
get out the big boss man.
The first holders of the new unified tag team championships were Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, but it was actually Tyson Kidd and D.H. Smith. They defeated Rhodes and DiBiase, and I can't remember if the titles were vacated or not, because Primo and Carlito had the Unified Tag Team Championships, and then DX had them. And no, they beat DX. That was it. DX was the team that ended up losing to the Hart Dynasty, and then the new belts came out after that. Where I got confused was Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes were the World Tag Team Champions in 2008, and then in 2009, or not in 2009, I think 2011, Cody Rhodes and Dashing Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. It might have been 2010. Or no, it was 09. It was 09. They were the WWE Tag Team Champions. So,
wow.
That clears that up, kind of.
I thought it was way too clever about, you said call the corrections department, and I'm like, ooh, the big boss man.
Oh.
I thought it was so clever. I guess I was not. Well, anyways, so we get into Raw.
Cobb County, Georgia.
And it opens with a huge pop for Daniel Bryan as he enters as WWE Champion for the first time ever on a Monday Night Raw, which is really cool. I like the... I don't know if I liked it, but they had the new panels on the belt.
Yeah,
the yes plates, which was kind of cool to see. It had a nice red around it. Daniel Bryan chants just fill the arena. Awesome moment for him, I'm sure. Triple H comes out and says that the victory was tainted last night, and he brings out referee Scott Armstrong to talk about it. He makes note of the obviously quick count during the Orton-Bryan match at Night of Champions, which we talked about quite a bit on our last podcast. And he says that he's never seen him make a mistake like that. He wants the truth from Armstrong. At this, Scott turns to Daniel Bryan and says, "They got us, Daniel." Or something like that. I went back and watched his mouth because you can't hear what he says. It does not look like he said, like, oh, the gig's up, you know?
No, and I think that was the point.
Yeah, okay.
Triple H was insinuating it on purpose. He said, what was that? What'd you say?
Yeah.
And that was intentional because Scott didn't say that, and he was even looking puzzled. Like, what are you talking about?
What's that? What did you say? Did you say that you pooped your pants? Because that's what I heard.
I knew they'd go this route, but why didn't anybody mention the fast count on Sunday? Why didn't the announcers say anything about the fast count?
I know.
That to me is a plot hole, that they would just ignore the fast count. No one would say anything.
They did at WrestleMania 14 when Stone Cold won. Mike Tyson, boom, boom, boom.
But that to me is a little different because I don't think it was meant to be a fast count.
Yeah. I
think Mike Tyson's just an idiot, and he counted fast, and it's like, oh, well, what are we going to do? We can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it just seems weird that they wouldn't mention anything on Sunday. It's very convenient of them to just gloss over that.
Very true.
But in the main event then, on Monday night, they kept showing a replay of the count as opposed up against a count from earlier in the match. It's like, from the championship match on Sunday, it's like, we don't need to see this in split screen. We saw this.
I know. We're well aware of what happened.
Stupid.
Yeah. Brian seemed very upset and confused about what was happening, and Triple H said he is ashamed of Daniel Bryan. Says he was part of a conspiracy to become the WWE champion, and he strips the title from Daniel Bryan and vacates it.
Which makes Bryan the first person in WWE history to have 2 title runs of less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours, yeah. I saw a meme, you know that South Park meme where they're like, oh, I'm just going to put it in here, and it's gone. And they'd put Triple H's head on it instead, and it's like, oh, you'll just be WWE champion, and it's gone.
I don't think I've seen that meme.
Well, you should.
I'm sure you'll text it to me in a little bit.
I probably will. So at this, obviously, Daniel Bryan's very upset. And he declines to give up the belt and is hit with an RKO from Randy Orton, who had come into the ring. And Triple H leaves with the belt, which I thought was very poetic. And we had talked about how Triple H is kind of becoming what people think he really was behind the scenes. He's becoming a caricature of what people believe him to be. And I think it would be awesome because he didn't give it to Orton, and we talked about this. How great would it be if he named himself champion?
I could see it happen, and you kept pointing to their conversation on Sunday, which I overlooked, but clearly it has something to do with the storyline. It looks like he's stringing Orton along as well, and I liked how later on in Raw, Stephanie said backstage to Orton that where's that guy that handcuffed my husband and gave me a DDT? And that's the storyline I've talked about for a long time, and that I've wanted to see something similar to that. So Orton is going to try to find that guy again.
He's got to listen to those
I could
voices.
see Triple H being that guy because no one was more sadistic than Triple H when he was, retiring Mick Foley and beating people in Hell in a Cell matches and using that sledgehammer constantly. He was ruthless, and I could see him being that guy and saying that because I think he's a 13-time world champion, and I could see a guy like him saying, well, I want a few more in so I can tie or pass Ric Flair
at 16. So after this segment, they come back from commercial, and Steph and Triple H are backstage, and this is what you talked about just a second ago. Orton is getting into his face, asking for his title back, and Steph goes crazy on him. Just insane. Said she wants the old Randy never would have lost, and he doesn't deserve that belt. They might need to find a new face for the WWE. And you talked about what they could possibly do as a face if it's not Daniel Bryan, if it's not Randy Orton. Obviously, Cena's out for a while. Could they have a returning champion? You talked about possibly Batista.
You could have it. That's just a dream of mine, but I don't see them bringing in a part-timer to be this face of the company, just because that kind of defeats the purpose. If you're a part-time talent, why would you be the face of the company and be the champion? Oh, wait, The Rock? No. But that, to me, would be a great way to bring Batista back. And to, of course, he's going to care about money, and I think that would be a great opportunity if the money's right to him. What a great way to bring somebody back. Look, we're bringing you back as the chosen champion.
Especially with the Orton, and Triple H elements of it, I think that'd be really cool.
Because Think about it.
Goldberg would be an interesting pick too.
Stop it with Goldberg. Stop it.
Well, he's talked about wanting to come back.
Oh, my God.
That'd be a way to do it.
Batista would be perfect because he's a guy that people would go crazy for as soon as he came in. And it's funny, the way he left the company, remember he was sitting in the chair whining and crying because he lost.
Yeah.
And, he leaves the company.
The I Quit match? Or
Yeah. Was it an I Quit match?
It was something
or
like
was
that.
it Last Man Standing? I can't remember.
I think it was an I Quit match.
I can't even remember what the main event on Sunday was. But he's the guy they would cheer for. So to have him come back as this ruthless destroyer, I mean, people would turn on him so quickly. It'd be perfect.
Oh, it'd be... I think it'd be an awesome... Well, then you'd have that kind of split crowd with Orton, because then he'd have his fans because he's trying to go up against Triple H as well. There'd be a lot of moving parts, and I love moving parts.
You've said that a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Not mean?
I know what I mean. Okay, so after that, we had our first match of the night. Dolph Ziggler took on Dean Ambrose, and Ziggler actually won after a Shield Plex was reversed into a zigzag.
He needed that win, and
it was a big win.
I'm sick of seeing those moves. Like we talked about it on Sunday. The Ambrose, Axel, Rhodes, Wyatt, like they all have similar moves, and I was just glad to see Ziggler reverse it, get a win.
Yeah.
Get back in. They need some of these baby faces to step up, and to me, Ziggler can be right up there with Bryan and Punk, leading the way for the good guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good to see him win. Where did you get that? Where did you get that?
It's from Superbad. When they're talking...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have that movie, too.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
For those who don't know, they're trying to get alcohol there in high school, and they're like, "Oh, are you getting those fake IDs?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm getting that for show. I'm getting it for show."
Yeah, that's right.
So that's where I got it. Next up, Big Show was suspended without pay since SmackDown, and Stephanie basically puts him in a timeout. She's like, "You're going to sit here in my office until I call you. I'll call for you," in that fake backstage office that they always use for everything. Yeah. And I've noticed that they're using that office for like Total Divas scenes, like on the. And we need to talk about Total Divas a little more because they had the season finale and a lot
the mid-season finale.
Or the mid-season finale.
Did you notice that? I think a week or two ago, I think it was on SmackDown, and it was a scene with Vicky in the office. They had the poster for the caller or the call.
The call, yeah.
And it was not it was not like an on DVD coming soon. It was because it's already been on DVD, but it was in theaters because it said March.
Oh, really?
I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, this is what I'd like to have in my office, a poster for the call.
It's so stupid. I'd rather have giant Hardee's burgers.
Yeah. And like a fake wall, like this is my nice office.
It's my locker room.
Well, and they had Natalia's wedding for the mid-season finale, and like it seemed like her only guests were like the people from Total Divas, and like the room looked really small, and I'm like, they had a fake wedding.
They probably staged a wedding.
It's ridiculous. I just can't believe it.
I'm 2 episodes behind, so I'll have to watch those.
Oh, yeah, you're not missing much. Well, anyways. But, yeah, Total Divas is so staged, it's ridiculous. Fandango took on R-Truth. Fandango wins with a big leg drop off the top rope.
Okay. I'm glad he won, but... I kind of fast forwarded through this match. I didn't care.
It only lasted like a couple minutes.
R-Truth is like the go-to like lower mid-card job guy, where it's like, we need somebody to fight somebody. Let's get R-Truth.
Yeah,
because I mean, really,
it's really sad.
And I think like his backup would be Zack Ryder at this point.
Ryder hasn't been on TV in a long. Although.
He stormed out of the locker room.
Stormed the castle.
But he didn't really do anything. He did a lot of standing around. He didn't do a lot of kicking or punching or anything.
He's tired from the run.
Must have been.
Yeah, he's
blown up.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the ring for a while. Next up, Dusty Rhodes came out. Of course, he's going to talk about Cody Rhodes and Goldust and what's been going on after Cody Rhodes was fired after losing to Randy Orton a couple weeks ago. Dusty wants Cody to have an opportunity to earn his job back. He's basically saying this is what he's here for. Cody deserves it back. It's in his blood. He deserves it. Stephanie McMahon comes out to the ring, and she says she's sorry if the firing ruined Cody Rhodes' wedding. And she gives him a gift card to Bed Bath & Beyond to give to Cody Rhodes, and I thought that was just brilliant.
Her line was great when she's like, that's where they're registered.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And then Stephanie offers Cody Rhodes his job back, or a job for Goldust, and the stipulation was that Dusty had to choose which son was going to be employed, and he wasn't able to. He refused to choose one or the other, and says that Stephanie can go to hell. and this Stephanie brings out the Shield, and then she brings out the Big Show from his timeout. And she says now his choice is which one does he want to have beat down. And Stephanie makes a decision for him and decides to have Big Show knock him out. But the Big Show declines, and then the Shield begin to surround him with chairs and everything, and they look like they're really, really going to put down a beating. And Big Show steps in and takes one for the team, and KO punches Dusty Rhodes.
The emotion in that interview or confrontation was great, and you could see why Dusty Rhodes throughout history has been one of the best on the mic. He's just one of the all-time greats, and Stephanie's been on point with a lot of her stuff lately.
Yeah, I've liked stuff.
I enjoyed that segment. Being nitpicky, it was funny when Big Show punched Dusty Rhodes. And he had to fall into Show's arms, but in order to do that, he had to like kind of pause and then fall forward. Where in reality, the punch would have sent him backward.
Backwards,
So it was like I was like, is he not selling this? And then he's like, oh, he's gonna get caught by the Big Show. I see. But it was Big Show cried again, and
he cries more than meets the eye. I don't know.
It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it. Obviously the road storyline is going further, and I like that, and I like that they're involving other members of his family, which is cool, and I really like this whole angle, actually.
I do too, and just selfishly, I'm excited to see Dustin and Cody on the same side, because they've never really even interacted. They've had a couple times where they've interacted.
The Rumble.
Yep, and then they've exchanged words a few times, but nothing really in ring wise. So if I could see them together, I think that'd be a nice little tag team. Yeah.
Natalya and AJ were on the mic for Cameron, Naomi, and Brie taking on Layla, Alicia Fox, and Oksana. Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Obviously, they're pushing the Total Divas cast. You knew who was going to win this match. AJ was okay on mic. But Natalya didn't even have a mic, which
for a little bit until Lawler gave her headset, because her headset was not working. But Natalya, headset or no headset, she's never really good in those one-on-one confrontations. Even when she's the third, or not the third, I guess in this case now fourth, because they have JBL. Yeah. Whenever she's on the commentary booth, she's never really that good.
Yeah.
So,
what you gonna do? So Brie gets the pin, and then Natalya got into AJ's face afterwards, and it looks like they're gonna have a feud, which I'm excited for. I think they're the two best in the division. I've always wanted Natalya to get her push and stop farting on SmackDown and dancing with Khali and Hornswoggle. This is her time. I'm excited about it, and she deserves it.
Agreed, and I think they'll get some good matches in there, and I think she will get a title eventually here. So,
next up, RVD took on Damien Sandow. RVD wins quickly. Sandow's losing streak continues for the last 2 months since winning Money in the Bank.
He will win the title, though. I mean, you can count on it, but the problem with the predictability of it is it takes away any interest in his matches.
Yeah.
When he's on, I figure, well, he's going to lose. So I just want him to cash it in and get a decent title run.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate how they just punish people after they get them. I don't understand it. But anyways, cut to backstage. Triple H and Scott Anderson are talking to each other, and Triple H fires him.
Scott Anderson?
The referee?
Scott Armstrong.
Oh, crap.
I was like, my high school soccer coach was talking to Triple H.
Mr. Anderson. Yeah, Scott Armstrong. I misread it. So Triple H misfire. Oh, God. He misfires.
Take some time, we'll gather ourselves, talk about Breaking Bad.
Yeah, there we go. Triple H fires Scott Armstrong, saying, we can't have this kind of stuff happen with the quick count and all that, so bye-bye, Scotty. Although it had to be part of a plan, though.
Of course. You look at he let him go. He's like, I gotta let you go, I'll give you a severance package. And he kept saying, but Hunter, I'm sure he was going to say, but Hunter, you told me to do this.
Yeah.
But Triple H kept stopping him and saying, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
So, of course, it will be revealed. I'm sure the Rhodeses will bring him back somehow, or something will happen, or we'll see some kind of GTV footage. Maybe that's how they'll wrap it up. Because GTV was supposed to be, I think, for Goldust at one point, and they never, ever really revealed the person behind GTV. And I don't know if they ever did it on Raw 1000, kind of like when they had Mae Young's hand that she gave birth to, all grown up.
The anonymous Raw GM.
But what they could do is have Goldust and GTV see a conversation between Scott Armstrong and Triple H, where Scott Armstrong is bullied into doing that. So and he'll get reinstated, but who knows? Vince might come in and save the day. I don't know where they're going to go with this.
Where has Vince been? Like, he was important in the early storyline. Now he's like,
they'll explain it. There's a reason for it, I'm sure.
Randy Orton took on Miz in the hometown of Cleveland, and match turns into just pummel of the Miz. DDT off the barricade, wrapped his head around the chair and dropped a knee onto it. Miz's mom was crying, and Miz's dad.
Miz was seen backstage talking to Brad Maddox, asking for the match. I think he wanted to fight Randy Orton in his hometown, or at least wanted to fight a match in his hometown. So he comes to the ring, and he goes up to his parents. The announcers say, Miz's parents are here, and he's hugging them and talking to them, and Orton attacks him outside of the ring while he's hugging his parents. And the match doesn't start at that point because both competitors obviously need to be in the ring for the match to start. And from there on, a star was born and a hashtag was used. Hashtag MizDad. Do yourself a favor, go to Twitter, do a search of MizDad, hashtag MizDad, and just enjoy. It's beautiful. So you pointed out Miz's mom showed a lot of emotion. She did a really good job of making you care about the Miz and his health and well-being. On the other hand, his dad completely no-sold it the whole time.
Really?
Orton is punching his son in the face right in front of him, and his expression does not change. Miz's dad looks like a dude, like you know he's a big Van Halen fan. He's rocking the long hair, the glasses, he's a little stocky, probably a big NASCAR fan, loves his Browns, and so a Twitter account was created. It was called MizDad WWE, and the bio said Camaros and the Browns. Now that account was deleted quickly. I don't know why it was deleted, but it didn't last very long. But if you look at some of the tweets, it was so funny. Comedian Marty DeRosa tweeted, he said, Miz's dad had to leave Raw early because he's in the Cleveland air guitar semifinals, or finals. And it's just so beautiful. Oh. And I saw someone else say, as if I needed more ammunition to make fun of Miz. But, I mean, I don't know. So Miz is injured now, quote unquote.
Yeah.
WWE's playing it up as an... Maybe he's going to film the Marine 4 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back with a new gimmick. We're going to have to watch. While we talk here, I'll call it up and we'll have it on in the background so you can just see him no-sell it. I mean, it's just so sweet. So Miz's dad is my MVP from Raw. He was so awesome. But in all seriousness, his mom did a really good job of being the concerned parent. I mean, I imagine if your kid is having the hell beaten out of him, you would be as upset as she was. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Especially since he has a job every night now.
He was a champion.
Yeah. Next up, Paul Heyman came out with Ryback and Curtis Axel. Heyman says he's the best in the world because he did something that no one else in the building has done, and that's pin CM Punk. And he has a point. I mean, yeah, he has a little bit of a point. And that he says that he can say that over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and it will always be the truth.
And the history books will show that Paul Heyman pinned CM Punk.
But he says that he's here because of Ryback. Ryback says he can't stand bullies. He just hates bullies. And CM Punk...
Actually, he was saying he hates bullies, if you notice. I was like... He said it like Foley.
Yeah.
Bully. He hates bullies.
So he hates bullies, and he took out CM Punk because he was bullying Paul Heyman. And says that he will always be there for Heyman, and then... Paul Heyman leans in and gives him a kiss.
And Ryback loves it.
Yeah, he looked so excited about it.
You know, the problem I had with this, though, it was a great bit. Loved it. The problem I have with it, though, is that they didn't explain why Ryback is suddenly okay with the fact that Paul Heyman was the one who hired Brad Maddox to ref those matches and screw him over. And that he was... the biggest reason why Ryback never won the WWE Championship.
But Ryback's his character's kind of an idiot right now. He's just like dumb and like a bully and like doesn't really know what's going on, and
the big guy.
Yeah. So like he just forgot, and like he was just so excited about the affection from Paul Heyman and the kisses on the cheek that he let it all slide.
And an easy way to explain it is that he could just say, look at Paul's track record. He breeds champions and blah, blah, blah. That'd be an easy way out, just to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But I like that alliance, and you can see the seed planted for maybe a Curtis Axel face turn, because he, at the start of that segment, he wheeled out Paul Heyman on that wheelchair and then looked at Ryback and then turned around and left. And he kind of had that look like a jealous little brother, like a jealous brother.
Yeah.
So we could see something between Axel and Ryback. But who knows?
I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I was laughing my butt off. It was good stuff. Next up, Real Americans took on the Usos and Tons of Funk. In a number one contenders match, Tons of Funk was eliminated fairly quickly.
Yes.
And the Usos ended up winning, which I could have figured. Since we still have the Shield, who are a heel team. Obviously, you can't have a heel take on a heel. So
it's just funny.
It's on right now.
There's Ms. Dad. It's just funny that last night at Sunday's pay-per-view, and I believe his parents are divorced too. They got divorced when he was like 5.
They got divorced last night.
No, but he was on Cole Cabana's podcast not that long ago.
Yeah,
he had said that when he was a kid, his parents got divorced. So good of them to be sitting next to each other and for their kid. And he's wearing the Cleveland Browns colors, if you didn't notice.
Just the poop brown.
So that would explain the poor performance.
Oh, look.
I love this. I wish you guys could see this right now. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
But
Usos.
It's weird that Primetime Players got this one shot on Sunday,
I know.
and now
they're not even.
They weren't even in the match to determine the number one contender.
I was very.
And neither was 3AB.
Well, whatever. But yeah, Primetime Players should have been in that match. I don't understand why not. Probably because they didn't want to see them. They didn't want them to lose.
Yeah,
which makes sense. All that was left was our main event: Daniel Bryan taking on Roman Reigns.
Those two people made The Miz. It explains so much. That guy made The Miz.
Oh man.
I love
Former WWE champion, The Miz.
Oh, The Miz.
WrestleMania main eventer. So our main event, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, The Shield, and Randy Orton are out at ringside, of course. Bryan ends up putting Reigns into a yes lock, and then Orton interferes. Bryan wins. And The Shield and Orton begin their habitual beatdown of Daniel Bryan as most Raws end nowadays.
They were making a habit of it.
Yeah. Bryan was put into the same chair position that ended up injuring Miz and sending him to the hospital. And at this, the entire locker room floods out, all the good guys in the locker room, I should say, and people who haven't been on TV in a while, come flying out to help Daniel Bryan, and they clear the ring of the Shield, they clear the ring of Randy Orton, and they leave Seth Rollins in the ring for Daniel Bryan to get his revenge, and the whole crowd goes nuts. Yes chants explode everywhere. It was a cool... We don't see that very often.
No. It reminded me, though, just how thin the roster is with baby faces. Really, Dolph stood out. Kofi's, not really quite there at all. I mean, he's not at a Punk level or anything. But and Punk, of course, would have been the best babyface to come out, but he did not come out. The crowd was chanting for him to come out, but he did not. Kofi got hurt in the exchange. He took the spear from Reigns. Yeah. And while everybody was yesing in the ring and holding up
in
Bryan,
the eye or something.
No, he was holding on to his stomach or his ribs. He says he's okay. He said on Twitter he's okay, but he took a nasty bump. And Seth Rollins is a guy who, during the match, he wasn't even in the match, but he took a beating. And either he sold it really well. I know he is one of their best sellers. He's right up there with Ziggler, if not better. But he landed nasty on his head and on his neck a couple times. One time where he looked like he actually got hurt because Titus O'Neil, not Tyson, talking about Mike Tyson and his referee. Titus O'Neil tried to pick him up off the canvas to do something to him, and you could see him say, Rollins, get off him or get away from me. Like, you tell he was really hurt. Yeah. And then that set up for, was it Bryan's knee right after that? Yeah. And then he landed really hard on his neck and kind of ended up in that scrunched position. Like, holy cow! So he
took a big bump from Daniel Bryan during the match against Reigns. Daniel Bryan came running across, hit him, and then Rollins flew into the announcer table.
Yes. Oh, and hit the back of his head. Yeah. That was that same match where a couple times, I mean, he had to leave at least with one or two concussions. Not good at all.
Not good. But I love the ending to Raw. It's good to see Daniel Bryan get one up finally. Obviously, this is going to have some repercussions next week or on SmackDown. Triple H isn't just going to let that go. It's his show. He's going to want to reign supreme once again. So I'm really excited to see what happens here.
Me too. We gave our little SmackDown teaser. Spoilers. Triple H is the one who grants the rematch to Van Dam. It didn't say how they set up the championship match between Orton and Bryan, just as that will be a match at Battleground as announced on SmackDown this coming Friday. I've been patient, and I will remain patient just to see where this all goes, and I want to see Punk get tied in at some point, and we'll keep it going. We'll see, but I'm liking it. I didn't expect for Daniel Bryan to win on Sunday, and the championship reign counts.
Yeah,
so he's
a two-time champ,
two-time WWE champ, three-time world champion.
Total of like 20 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you have a guy who held the belt for a couple minutes, less than a day, and then lost in 18 seconds during his World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, he had it for a long time before that, but yes.
And he won that great triple threat cage match between Big Show, him, and Mark Henry.
Which is going to be so great when he finally gets that win at like WrestleMania. Finally.
No, it was an alright show. Compared to recent weeks, not as good quality-wise, but there were moments, I'd say, within the last month and a half where I've been watching Raw live and fading in and out of consciousness. I didn't last night. I enjoyed every second of it. I was able to stay up and alert and give these things time. I feel like I say that every podcast, but with the immediate social media response and with the ability to respond immediately, people have such little patience, and I'm okay with everything taking time. That's what I love most about wrestling, is that these storylines get a chance to get deep and get lengthy. So
yeah, they certainly have enough episodes to work with. Yeah.
And we're going to get our reward. We're going to be rewarded. The bad guys are going to lose at some point. They will be outdone and or undone, I should say. And they're setting it up perfectly. And I we'll see that.
Yeah.
We will see that someday. I don't mean that they're setting up perfectly as in it's working to a T. That, why wasn't the Big Show present on Sunday? Those stupid.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to get a show heel turn eventually.
He was probably unleashed in Stephanie's
Probably.
fake office. But yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll see what happens. A couple weeks of Battleground, and but yeah, that's our show for today.
Thank you guys. You can follow Matt on Twitter at 97bush, like the beer and the race car drivers.
Yes.
You can follow me at Jimmy Bellamy. Follow us at Immortals PCast. Follow Wrestle News at Wrestle News with a Z.
The Z.
We can't thank you enough. We love doing this, and man, we have a lot of great wrestling ahead of us. So have a wonderful week.
For show. All right, peace.
Bye 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 bye.
Get some NSYNC or something. I'll keep recording.
Bye.
All right, bye.